Hey guys, hello. I thought I'll welcome you all with a warm smile today. Hello. I hope you all are doing great. I'm doing great. I'm not very regular with my videos these days because I have a lot of sessions to give and I am not getting time to produce any sort of videos these days. Plus, in like 2 to 3 days' time, I will be traveling to my favorite place. You need to guess and put that in the comments below. Um, so yeah, all those who are new to my channel, hello and welcome to my channel. I'm so happy to see you guys. So in today's video, I will be talking about 3 ways that will help you in getting started with your French speaking journey from day one. And let us start. The first thing that I want you to focus on, and the first thing that I want you to start implementing from today, is start speaking French. Start speaking in French out loud with whatever you know, whatever you have learned. Believe me, guys, even if you are an absolute beginner, just start with greetings. I think that's the first thing that you learn, right? When you start learning letters, when you start learning numbers, start giving your phone number in French language at least once. I mean, just try if you can, if you know the numbers. So just see if you know the numbers from 0 to 100 correctly at least. That will help you so much and that will boost your confidence. Then as and when you grow in the language, as and when you learn more and more things in French language, start utilizing all of that content and start producing it. Now I keep talking about this in a lot of my videos, that instead of simply sitting there and consuming information, start utilizing that information that you have consumed and put it in action. Believe me, guys, this is the only way that can help you become fluent one day. I mean, yes, when you get started, I'll tell you about me as well. Even when I started doing this, I mean, it would sound really stupid, and my family members would make fun of me because nobody knew French, and I would just keep talking out loud to myself. And I remember the first day I spoke for good 5 to 10 minutes with a lot of stuttering, and I couldn't think of, some accurate words. I couldn't put my thoughts into words, and I faced all those problems as well. But then, slowly, I started loving that process. I mean, I just started loving talking to myself. Imagine I could just talk about anything and everything to myself without even worrying that, anybody could understand that thing. So it's just about talking out loud, utilize. I mean, when you start learning about family, you learn some expression. See how you will use that in your speech. Okay. You will stutter, you will make mistakes, you will go blank at times, you will not know words, and that is absolutely normal. But trust me, if you keep doing this at least for 10 minutes a day, 10 minutes a day, try this just for 30 days, not even 30, I would say. Try this just for a week or so and see how it goes. You will start loving the process. And even if you don't, I mean, just dedicate those 10 minutes to fully communicating in French. Communicate your thoughts in French. Try and keep it very simple. Do not complicate. Okay. In English, we have this habit of, framing long sentences, complex sentences, and all of that. You might not know those long structures, and you might have not reached that level of grammatically framing those sentences in such a way. So keep it short, sweet, simple. Keep it very simple, guys. Do not try using expressions and words that you're not comfortable using. Start with whatever you have learned, start with whatever you're comfortable with. But you have to dedicate yourself to speaking French, to producing something in French language, rather than just sitting there and consuming information. Put that thing in action. Start speaking, start talking to yourself. You will realize, At times there are certain things in your mind, at times you know the correct thing, but you still end up saying something incorrectly. And this is what I've noticed in almost all of my students as well. When I ask them to speak on something and I'm sitting there and hearing them out quietly, they tend to speak and then they tend to correct themselves as well, because they realize, oh, why did I say that? I mean, this is how it is to be said, right? So for example, if I have to say I'm 26 years old, I say j'ai 26 ans in French, and instead of using the avoir verb, my students tend to use être, je suis 26 ans, and then they say, no, wait, it is j'ai 26 ans. So that is how, I mean, you know that you have to use avoir instead of être to express your age in French. Yet when you're speaking, you're so used to, you know, you're so used to your comfort language, you know, your language, like maybe English. You're so comfortable using that language that when you are when you're speaking French, you tend to translate those sentences from English to French, whereas that is not the case. But as and when you do this exercise, you will progress, believe me. Number 2, do not focus too much on grammar and vocabulary. Trust me, this is the biggest red flag, and this is the biggest mistake students make. They focus so much on grammar, they focus so much on vocabulary that, you know, at some point they know a lot of words, but they're just not able to speak out loud when it comes to, you know, their exam, or when it comes to communicating with somebody. They're just not able to put their thoughts across, despite of having such a good level of vocabulary and despite of knowing the grammar rules and all of that. So do not focus too much on technicality of the language. Just go with the flow, enjoy the process, and just communicate, have fun with it. It's okay if your sentences are not grammatically 10 on 10. It's okay if you do not use, or you're not able to use those high level expressions that your teacher taught you or you learned somewhere on internet. So it's absolutely fine. What I want you to do is focus on keeping things simple, okay? And try try putting your thoughts in words in a very very subtle way, okay? Don't complicate things. Don't focus. Don't dwell upon grammar, or vocabulary. All right? You will just be overwhelmed because there is no end to it. I mean, grammar, yes, there is an end to it, but just like English, now imagine how long you've taken to learn English language, and you've reached this point after, I think, 10 to 15 years of learning, that now you can speak in this language fluently. And even today, when you're reading that newspaper article or a magazine, there is something that you've never heard before. There will be some word that you've never come across ever before, right? I know that's true. So there's no end, there's no limit to learning new words, new vocabulary, expressions, and whatnot. There's just no end. So, my suggestion to you is do not focus too much on technicalities. These things can be worked upon, you know, as and when you are in that journey, as and when you learn French language. But or any other language for that matter, whatever is your target language. If you are new to English, if you are new to French, if you're learning German, if you're learning any other language, believe me, this is the only way out, because until and unless you don't speak up, you don't utilize whatever you have learned, you don't overwhelm yourself, things become so much easier. Trust me. So do not focus too much on technicality of the language, okay? And do not fear stuttering. Do not be afraid of making mistakes. Go ahead, make mistakes, correct yourself, use word reference. Do not use Google Translate. Yes, a disclaimer, do not use Google Translate, because Google Translate is many a times incorrect and inaccurate. So it will give you the word to word translation of the sentence you put in, the translation, but that is not correct. So Google Translate is never reliable. Not never, I would say, but I have never used Google Translate very honestly, because um, I just realized that the translation is not as per the French language. So do not use that. Do not rely on that. You can take help of internet. You can take help of some websites. You can take help of word reference, and there are so many things available online. But pick up one thing, talk on that thing for a day or 2 days or whatever. Okay, now if you learn about talking about weather conditions, or you learned about talking about family, start describing your family in French. If you learned a vocabulary of apartment, of all the furniture that you see in the background, the curtains and the mobile phone and etc etc, like whatever I'm talking right now, okay, whatever you see in the background, just stop. Now if you learn something about kitchen equipments or furniture or something of that sort, just pause for a minute, just go in your kitchen, look around, what all do you see, start naming those objects in French. um, for example, in this case, what you see behind is a cupboard. Ça c'est un placard. A placard. Okay, and I'm sitting on my bed right now. What is a bed called in French? Un lit. Un lit. And I'm making a video. What is a video called in French? Une video. By using my mobile phone. Now, mobile phone is un portable, right? How would I, this is what I have done. How would I describe a particular situation in my target language? I would just stop for a minute, for 5 minutes, think about it, and start talking out loud to myself. Like, if I had to describe this situation right now, what is happening, me recording this video on my phone and all of that, the preparations I did before I started recording this video, like I just groomed myself up and all of that. I would say all of that in French. I would say d'abord j'ai commencé à me maquiller and etc etc. Okay, I started with my makeup, and then I just started my phone camera and I started recording. I started speaking, right? So all of this I would just describe in French. Now, if suppose I get stuck somewhere, I would definitely use word reference. I would just search for that particular word in word reference, and word reference has amazing, easy sentences, examples as well, which can help you a lot in, utilizing that word or expression in a correct way in a sentence. So I prefer doing that. And there were times when, I would be in kitchen, maybe I would be cooking, or yes, this is funny, but I will confess, when I used to go for shower also, I used to keep talking to myself a lot in French. I mean, I don't know if this is the case with you guys as well, but at least what I realized is, when you go for shower, I think your mind is racing with so many thoughts in your mind, right? Sometimes you're upset, sometimes you are happy, sometimes you're just in that zone where you become a bathroom singer kind of. So I started doing all of that. So I used to talk a lot. I used to talk loudly with myself. Even during that time, I used to keep expressing and translating my thoughts. If I was sad, why I was sad, what happened, all of that. Not just when I was in shower, but yeah, I mean, in general, I would do that. Like, suppose I had a fight with my sibling. Suppose I wanted to borrow something from my sister and she refused, and I was mad at her or something. Or maybe I had an argument with my mom over something that she refused to allow me to do, or something like that. And then I would just express my thoughts over it, like, this is not right. I mean, she was rude and I lost my temper and I also said certain things. I regret doing all of that now. I'm just trying to show you um, some hints of how I started learning French language and how I became fluent, because I see my students struggle to speak, even though they know good vocabulary, they know good expressions, they know everything in grammar, but still when it comes to speaking they aren't able to do that. And the last point, that's point number 3 that I wanted to focus on, is your pronunciation. Okay, do not do not focus too much on your pronunciation as well. I mean, that is an important aspect, I agree, but when you are just starting out, when you are, just maybe you are at A2 level, or maybe you are just entering, I'm sorry, when you're just entering the intermediate level, say B1 or something, and you're consuming some content, you're watching some videos online. Maybe I personally love watching some French songs on YouTube with the subtitles. So I learn the lyrics and then I sing that out loud. And by now, like, I've learned a lot of French songs, and there are times when I'm singing those songs, and I'm having fun. So as in when you watch more and more videos, you tend to catch those words, and don't overwhelm if your pronunciation is different from what you see or what you listen. Okay, now if you are listening to some audios also while you're learning French, and you find no similarity in the way you speak and what you listen to or what you watch, it's totally normal. It's absolutely normal at an initial stage. As in when you talk to yourself, as in when you progress in that speaking journey, your pronunciation is going to be on point. Trust me on that. So do not put yourself down, or and another thing, I mean, this is my personal suggestion, but if you can have someone, some tutor or somebody whom you can have a conversation with one on one, who's there to listen to you and who's there to correct you, there is nothing like that. That is just going to fast track your speaking journey by 10x. Trust me on that. I mean, the time that you're going to take to reach this level, okay, now if this is your target level, the time that you're going to take to come from here to this level, okay, if that thing was going to take you 3 months' time, if you have a mentor or somebody with whom you are communicating on one level, that thing will be done in like a month's time. I mean, there are a lot of pre-recorded courses and everything that you see these days online, but trust me, I've never been a fan of, pre-recorded courses. Or, I mean, though their prices and all look really tempting, they are super low and with a lot of value and content in it, but I would still prefer having that personal touch, even if it is online. At least you are live with someone and you have someone to correct you, right? So that way you will master your French. And trust me, I mean, when you meet a French native and you just speak their language, even though your pronunciation is not on point, they'll be so excited to talk to you. They will be so happy to know that you're taking that effort to learn their language. And they will really be very happy to see that, and they'll be happy to talk to you. So do not underestimate yourself if your pronunciation is not on point. So, 3 things. Let's resume quickly. First is start speaking from day one with whatever you have learned. Number 2, do not focus too much on the technicalities, that is the grammar and the vocabulary. Number 3, what is number 3? I mean, I forgot what was number 3. Yeah, number 3 was do not focus too much on your pronunciation. I mean, that French accent and all, I mean, looks really attractive, and it just it's something that you're tempted to learn. I agree, I get it, but just go with the flow. It's fine. Here, the most important point out of all the 3 is the first point that I discussed. Start speaking from day one. That's today. Okay. So thank you so much for watching. my video, and I'll see you in the next video. I hope you all found this video useful. If yes, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.